What is up, guys? Welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit, and today we're going to be talking knockout rounds. We're going to be giving some predictions out on the knockout rounds. I wanted to do a real quick episode and give my thoughts on that. Before we start up, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. Thanks for all your support, guys. It's greatly appreciated. And if you're new, just checking me out, thanks a lot. I do Overwatch League content 2 to 3 times a week, and this would have been a normally would have been a 3-episode week, but we had a big storm, and I didn't have power from Wednesday night into Friday, so there was a problem with me getting a video out, and by the time I could get anything edited, because I finished recording the audio, power went out when I was at work, and then I usually edit when I'm back from work. And then the power was out for the whole time, and by the time I would have gotten it edited, it would have been somewhere late last night. So I just opted to not do that because it would have been irrelevant at this point. So here we are. We have the knockouts ready. So we're going to hit APAC first, and then we're going to dive into NA. And then we'll go over the matches really quick, give a little thought on each one of them, and then I'll give you my predictions for those. And as it stands right now, I lost a couple of games so far. I lost, Thursday was bad. I lost both games on Thursday, and I lost, of course, Hangzhou shit the bed against Guangzhou and lost in a 5-mapper, or I would have been looking pretty good. But yeah, so let's talk about this. All right, APAC, we are set, and we had, just real quick, the matches in APAC, they went as expected except for the last one. We're not going to dive into them at all. We had Guangzhou beating the Valiant 3-0. Chengdu taking care of business against Hangzhou before that. And then Chengdu beat the Valiant 3-0. And then Guangzhou knocked Hangzhou out of the qualifiers and sent New York into them. Or the knockout round, I should say. However you want to phrase that. So our 2 matches in APAC are going to be the NYXL versus the Chengdu Hunters and the Seoul Dynasty versus the Philadelphia Fusion. Right off the bat, Chengdu's got the pass in this one because Philly and Seoul are both playing really well. And it's unfortunate that both of these teams don't get to go because they're both playing decently right now. We had Seoul beat Philly just a week ago. Yeah, so we're going to hit the Chengdu match first. Me, personally, I am looking at this as, this is New York's only shot to be able to move up as far as the final season standings. They have to win this. Chengdu wants to maintain themselves and get that playoff spot away from the Dynasty, the 2 slot. And right now, Hangzhou's hanging on by a thread to be in the play-ins for the APAC. Chengdu is in second, but they need to maintain that level because they're only 1 point ahead. For some reason, I thought Seoul was ahead of them, even though I was staring right at it. They've been in second the whole year. But if Chengdu wants to continue, they want to go to Hawaii, they want to get the points, they want to stay up, and they are looking the best out of pretty much most of the teams here. And they have the weaker opponent. Let's just be honest. New York, they did not. I thought New York would play better this time around. Yeah, they're in the play-ins for another. This is the second time that second or third time they've been in the knockouts to go to Hawaii. They went once. Oh, it's their second time. That's right. I was thinking last time they were in, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so Chengdu's going to want to maintain. So they're going to be playing balls out here. Pun intended, I guess, too. But to me, this is a mismatch right now. Chengdu, with their DPS line, their tank line's looking great. Late Young coming in. Elsa looked good. Late Young just learned a lot from Elsa. He's even said that. And they're playing at a really high level. Monk's playing well. And you got Yevatool doing his thing. Jinmu, Leave. This team is just insane right now. And I'm looking at them this is going to be an easy walk in the park for these guys, I think. I think they 3-0, maybe a 3-1 if New York nuts up in one of these maps. But I just don't see it. The tank line for New York, once again, up and down. Their support line, like Jonak is good. Friday's okay. Their DPS has to hard carry, and sometimes Jonak does too. You get rid of their tank line first, and they're just they're game over with this team. Yeah, their DPS have the potential to carry, but if they don't have any space or anything like that, because their tanks are just getting flat bullied, they're nothing. And like I had said before, with New York, their tanks don't have to do a ton. They just have to do enough, and they're not doing enough. They don't have to go into these matches and take over. That's what the DPS and Jonak should be doing. But they don't have the space. It's just a mess. They're somehow 7-9. And yeah, I said they got better, but I'm watching some of the matches that they played in this iteration. They just been Chengdu's just on fire. They are playing at a super high level. They don't have to worry about Shanghai. And they're going to go, to me, like I said, 3-0, 3-1 here. I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this because Chengdu is playing really well. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Yeah, their schedule was easy for them or anybody. But, it doesn't matter. They took care of their business. We've said teams have had easy schedules in the past, and they haven't taken care of business. Philadelphia, stage 2, for instance. They had should have been 4-0. They went 0-4 or 1-3. Whatever happened there. But anyway, so Chengdu, first match, 3-0. Possibly a 3-1 if New York can pull some miracle out. Next match there. Let's talk Seoul and Philly. We had a banger of a match the last time they played, just a week ago, in fact. And Seoul came out victorious in that one, 3-2. It was a close match. Prophet, Fitz did their thing. Gesture looked good doing his, rolling out in his Gucci shit and big ball in it, playing Orisa and doing the things that he's good at. Their support line stepped up and didn't fuck things up. It's just what it amounts with this support line. As long as they don't do that, they're fine. And Fitz was insane, and Prophet's insane. So you get the two of these guys going, and they're just looking good. They beat Philadelphia 3-2, and, it's going to be a similar match. They know how each other play now. They just played a 5-match set last week. They had a couple of warm-up games this week, and here we are. They're going to be playing to go to Hawaii. One of these teams is finally going to get to go. Who's it going to be? This is a tough match to pick right now for me. I'm loving the way Philly's playing. EQO's looking really good. Whoever else they put in there. They ran Carpe the whole match against Seoul last time. They have flipped in and out here and there, but they don't really need to, I don't think, right now. Their tank line's looking good. You got Hapa playing a really good Zarya. They're one of the few teams that are running this Zarya thing. It's kind of sprinkling in over here in APAC, but a little bit, you see a little bit in NA too, not a ton, but it's worth mentioning. Mono's been playing well. Their support line is super beyond fantastic. And I'm going to say what I said the last time. This is the one egregious thing matchup-wise when you look at these two teams. You could maybe say the DPS line, but I don't know. Carpe EQO is pretty damn good. Fitz and Prophet are above them, maybe a tick or so above them, but the Phillies support line is their driving force right now. With Alarm and Funny Aster doing the stuff that they do. The thing is the Dynasty, with Prophet and Fitz, were able to neutralize them and just eliminate a lot of the problems that they caused. And also, in the last match, they just took care of business with the tank line. I mean, Fitz was insane playing Sombra, Prophet doing Torb and whatever else Prophet's doing. They're just playing at a high level, Seoul, right now. And these are the two teams that every time I put my faith into them, they burn me. So this is a really hard pick because I know I'm going to get fuck whoever I pick in this. And it can't be a tie, obviously. You know how that goes. So I am looking at, right now, I'm going to go with, fine, I'm going to go with my boy Prophet. It's approaching playoff season. I got to take the Dynasty in this one. I'm going to take them 3-2 in the rematch. Sorry, Philly fans. I'm not locking Philadelphia out of this, though. This could go either way. It really could. But I'm going to go with Prophet and Gesture. It's almost September. It's their time of year. This is when they do their thing, and you throw Fitz in there. But I'm not going to count Philly out in this whatsoever. Alarm and Funny Astro just are insane, and you add EQO and Carpe and Mono and Hotpa. It's a good team, and they're going to make this a close match. But I am going with the Dynasty. I was going to go with Philly, but it's the fucking Prophet stan in me, okay? I gotta watch Prophet shine at least once in a year, and I don't care what you guys say. I could vote for Leave. I could vote for fucking whoever, Lip. I'm gonna end up voting for Prophet in the damn MVP thing because I'm a simp, okay? And we'll see what happens after this match if he gets into a tournament and he does his thing and all that. We'll see what happens. But those are my 2 picks for the APAC matches. So now let's talk about NA. All right, NA's all set, so let's go over what happened there. Just real quick. All right, so the games that mattered on Saturday, we had, of course, this had no playoff implications, no Countdown Cup implications. London wins the Bread Bowl 3-2. Gladiators absolutely destroy Houston 3-0. San Francisco beats Toronto 3-1. Okay, so where does that leave us for the Countdown Cup? We have Paris playing Toronto first, then Dallas playing San Francisco, and then, of course, we have the next round, Atlanta and the Gladiators got buys. So let's talk about the 2 matches that we know about, and then we'll pull out the crystal ball and talk about what we think is going to happen here. So, we have Paris and Toronto. All right. Paris looked good to start the stage off. They got in. They did 3-0 London, but let's, be honest, that was kind of meh. And earlier this weekend, this will be the second time they played Toronto. So, much like the much like the Seoul Philly match, we have a rematch going on here, a really quick turnaround, and it was a really close match. It could have gone better for Paris, really, if you want to think about it. Paris was down 2-0. They came back. They almost reverse swept, but Toronto did the weird things that they do. They beat teams, we talked about this. Actually, I talked about this. You didn't hear it. Basically, it was in the shit that got lost with the power outage and all that. Toronto's a gatekeeper, so they beat the teams that they're better than, and they lose to the teams that they're not. I thought Paris was better than them. I had Paris in that match 3-2, but Toronto, on the back of like Aspire and some of the things that are going on with that team, they do a good job, but they just can't beat teams that are above them in the standings generally. Paris, you could say, it's in a weird spot with Paris. To start of the season, of course, they were worse than them, and they've improved. They've upped their game. Toronto, though, they had moments against the Shock where they looked really, really good. And, a lot of that, to me, is since the addition of Aspire, they've been a different team. They've been a better team. They're more cohesive. They seem to be playing really, really well. Now, it's another coin flip match between these two teams, because as bad as Paris was at times in that match, they did show moments of greatness with the players that we were talking about. Vestola, and you have guys like Khan doing things, and Don, and running Naga on the Pharaoh at points worked out okay. The Defiant were kind of up in that. Michelle has been all over the place and playing really well for them, so he was doing a decent job against that. They were running Suna at points in this match, and, I'm going to go with some of the same things that I was saying before. I like what Paris does. I like where they're going. I think they've learned a little bit from that last match that they played against Toronto. They're in a good spot, even though they lost. They came back, they made a match out of it, and they very well could have won it in the end. They just did not look good at the start. They need to get off to a really fast start, I think, and not give the Defiant a chance to breathe, and I think they could win this match. I really, really do. But, if Aspire starts to get hot and Sato's playing well, and Michelle is doing the things he does on Diva that look fantastic and things like that. It could be a problem for Paris, but I'm going to go with my prediction that I had that you guys did not hear earlier in the week. I'm going with the Paris Eternal 3-2 in this to move on. Nothing against Toronto. I root for Toronto. They're the closest team in proximity where I am in Cleveland, so they're kind of like my hometown team. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Mayhem fan, and I'm rooting for Toronto, but I'm looking at this from a different perspective in the, what I think is going to happen. So I think Paris has learned enough from that match that they played them earlier in the week, and they kind of figured out their tendencies and what they like to do, and I think they're going to be able to take this match from them and move on in the knockout round. Now, the other match we have is going to be the San Francisco Shock taking on the Dallas Fuel, who backed in because the Gladiators destroyed the Houston Outlaws. That match, if we can call it that, wasn't even close. Houston in a pressure situation. Okay. Houston fans, I don't know what to tell you. You come in with a plan, but I don't know. You guys ever see Armageddon? There's a point where, the meteor thing is coming down and fucking Bruce Willis is talking to the director of NASA. He's like, you don't have a backup plan? That's what I hear his voice saying that. You're NASA. You come up with this shit. That whole point in that movie. Terrible movie, but, late 90s, whatever. But there's a point where he's going, you don't have a backup plan? Why? That's my feeling when I see Houston. They go into a match. They have a solid plan. And the minute they get hard fucked, keep doing what they're doing. You need a backup plan. They never have a backup plan. And the Gladiators know this, and they just fucking dismantled them. All right, enough ranting about Houston. Let's get back to this match. So, because of that match, we have Dallas-San Francisco. Dallas doesn't want to be here necessarily, but I'm sure they're like, at this point, they're probably like, well, fuck it. We'll take some more money. Let's give it a go. I'm assuming that's their thing. I'm thinking they didn't think the Outlaws were going to get shut out, so they probably were like not even expecting to be in this situation, which kind of works out in San Francisco's favor. Look, San Francisco's good. I've been saying this all year. They haven't made it to Hawaii yet. They're determined now. This is their go button. If they beat Dallas, they move into the next round, and they play Atlanta. So if they play Atlanta, this is for the marbles, for the we get the playoff spot, you don't kind of thing. Actually, it doesn't matter. Whoever they play, they're going to knock somebody out of that spot. So this is a big match. Dallas doesn't necessarily care about this. They're still going to play because they know San Francisco is going to bring their A game. So this is a good scouting opportunity for the playoffs. Dallas is going to show up, but I really don't think Dallas is invested enough as much as San Francisco is going to be. So I'm honestly, the way that San Francisco has been playing, I'm going to go with the Shock in this. Normally, if it was say it was Summer Showdown or something like that, I would go with Dallas. I think Dallas is going to play, and I think they're going to play well, but I don't think they're going to be able to play on the level that San Francisco is going to play. But I don't think they can handle what the Shock are doing right now, is what I'm getting at. Ons is on fire. They're playing at a level like they normally do in the playoff situations. They took care of Toronto, who they had to beat. Yeah, you could say Toronto, gatekeeper Toronto. But still, the Shock had to prove something here to get a good seed. Now they're playing Dallas. I love Dallas. I've said since the beginning of the year that the Fuel should be in these situations. They should be playing in these tournaments and all that stuff. If they want to play, I think Dallas is going to make a match out of it. I think San Francisco still wins 3-2 in this because there's more on the line for the Shock. Dallas has everything locked up. If they want to go to Hawaii, they're going to go to Hawaii. They're going to make that decision at some point. If they don't, they're probably going to hard throw. Maybe not hard throw, soft throw. Let's go soft throw. Sandbag, if you will. We'll go season 1 term, sandbagging. They very well could beat San Francisco. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Sparkle, Doha, that whole crowd, Fielder, they're elite, amazing. But I don't think they're invested in this, so I'm going with San Francisco 3-2 on that. All right, so time to get out Misfit's crystal ball here. We're going to look at what could happen. Now, like I said, San Francisco will have Atlanta. Toronto, or Paris will have the Glads. If I'm looking at this the correct way. No, wait, I take that back. They played the Gladiators. Never mind. Okay, so we have, because Paris is the lower seed, duh. We have Paris playing Atlanta, San Francisco playing the Glads. All right, Paris, Atlanta. I'm sorry, Atlanta's playing way too good right now. The way that they become adaptable, they are just playing fantastic. Hawk, Gator, fantastic tank line. I think they eat up Paris if they play Paris 3-1, being nice. 3-1. Atlanta goes to... There's really not much to say about this match. I just think they'll dominate them. Pelicans playing out of his mind, and Kai is playing unbelievably in whatever hit scan they play. And if they put Edison in, he's better than anything Paris has right now, too. So I just like Atlanta in this. They're going. Glad's shock again. All right, Battle of California. This one, geez, I'm doing this like on the spot right after the match has ended. So, man, I don't know exactly who I want to pick. The Gladiators are playing really, really well right now, and so are the Shock, to be honest. I think what it's going to come down to is Shoe Moth Skewed are better than Violet Twilight. I know I said that out loud. Shoe is on a different level right now. I am going to go against better judgment here, and I'm going to take the Gladiators 3-2 in this. And we're going to have the Shock, the Gladiator, or the Shock. I'm sorry, the Reign, the Gladiators, the Dynasty, and the Hunters battling it out for the Countdown Cup before we get to the playoffs. So that is my predictions for this. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I wanted to just throw something up really quick to explain to you guys what happened with why I didn't have a preview, because I had a whole week preview thing planned. But nature took its toll. Nature always finds a way. If you guys are Jurassic Park fans, you know what I mean. So that's my opinions on what's going to happen for the knockout round. That's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for all your support. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And I really mean that. Anything you guys have done for me, likes, subscribes, all that stuff, all the comments, I really appreciate it. To me, this is one of the most fun things I do all year long. We're coming down to the end of the year, and I just want to thank you guys once again. Thank you very much for all your support. If you're new, also, thank you for stopping by, checking me out. If you could hit a like, hit a subscribe, all the YouTube jazz, that would be fantastic. Join the crew. All right, guys, this is Misfit. I'm out. Stay safe. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the knockout rounds, and we'll talk to you on the next one.